Okay, so this is a lesson on similes and metaphors. They both compare two things to one another. Similes use like or as to compare, and metaphors do not use like or as to compare two things to each other. So here's a few examples. He is as tall as a giraffe. Now in this statement, it is comparing his height, being tall, to a giraffe. So because this is using as to compare one to another, this statement is a simile. And the meaning of this statement is he is very tall. Another example of a simile would be she is light like a feather. Now it is comparing her weight, being light, to a feather, and since it is using like to compare the two, this is also a simile. And the meaning of this statement would be she is very lightweight. Now, moving on to something else. Life is a roller coaster. This can be seen tricky to students because it is comparing life to being a roller coaster. It is not using like or as anywhere in between the two comparisons, which means that this is a metaphor because it's still comparing two things, but it's not using like or as. So the meaning behind this statement would be life is a crazy ride, just like a roller coaster would be. Another example would be the hospital was a refrigerator. Now this is comparing the hospital to a refrigerator, and we know that refrigerators are cold. It is not using like or as in this statement to compare the two, which means it is a metaphor, and the meaning behind it would be that the hospital was very cold. The hospital was very cold.